Module summary, day in the life of a collector. So, friends, before I proceed ahead, I'm gonna really apologize for a long delay in releasing the videos, but there are certain reasons, personal and professional. But anyway, here is the thing that I'm gonna quickly show you the day in a life of a collector in Oracle Fusion Collections, which is where I have written this business scenario and explain the business challenges faced by a collector. And then I try to map those business challenges faced by a collector through a solution given in Oracle Fusion's Collections Cloud. All right, so let's understand the business scenario first. So the business scenario and challenges faced by a collector includes, hey, a starts with a person called Hema Kumari. She's doing a very challenging job and it involves a lot of manual work. She has to personally call each delinquent customer, manually tracking each and every single call back and sending the dunning letters. So as you see, this sort of task that she's doing, it involves a lot of manual activities, which includes manually tracking every single call and sending the dunning letters to customers um, for late payments. So this is a sort of laborious task, but it also involves a lot of nodes maintenance. If something gets lost, then she's got to go through all over again. In addition, Hema finds that she doesn't have an immediate access to the information she needs. So, for example, if she she has to contact a customer, but she finds that she might have already contacted them in the past, but she doesn't have that information already, or maybe when she contacted, she uh, she took some notes in response to her call from the customer rep, but she doesn't have it in place. And since she makes lots of call on a daily basis, um, that kind of information is crucial for her. Otherwise, it sort of ends up in chaos. Sometimes customers doesn't respond well if she doesn't have that information in terms of communication that she's made in the past, and she's repeating the same information. No one likes that sort of a thing. So that's the reason I think she's really feeling that gap. In fact, many of the collection balances are not up to date, which means that Hema has to engage with other team members to get the correct details. So even though it's a one man's or a one person's job, but she's got to coordinate with others to get a specific task or a job done. Too often, she spends her time trying to get information she needs before she can engage directly with the customer. So, again, the same sort of scenario wherein she contacted a customer in the past, and now it's challenging that the notes that she's taken, maybe it's got lost, or maybe it's a bit old. So, she's got to coordinate with others to know the exact um, updated information before contacting a customer. So, these shortcomings not only cause delays from for HEMA and the other collection agents, but they also expose supermoon fitness to multiple financial risks. For example, if a customer had some sort of a dispute and they flagged it in the past, and she doesn't find that notes of dispute, and if they contact them back in relation to late payments, then they would be a bit upset, saying that they might have given some information in the past, but she's unable to reproduce or what's the status of that dispute that they have raised in the past. So if she doesn't have that, or if she doesn't have updated information in relation to the disputes that they have raised in the past, it may cause chaos and it may also involves loss to the organization and not only loss, uh, but also some sort of financial risk in the form of even further delayed payments. In some cases, receipts get stuck in the process of payment, don't appear on the system that HEMA uses, which leads to HEMA making unnecessary follow-up calls with good customers. So this could be a systemic issue. This lack of real-time information means that HEMA doesn't know which customers to target first. So she got to have the real-time information in place. For example, if the customer has promised a payment after 7 days and she logs in and she doesn't find that information, then what's the use of that particular system? So hence, because of all these systemic issues plus uh, manual follow-up calls and a scattered system, I guess there is a change of system that is urgently required. And that's where Oracle Fusion Collections comes into picture. It's an extremely good solution in terms of, first of all, taking all the information in one place, one central repository. Plus, she's got information in one place, and that too updated real-time information that not only HEMA but any other collection agent updates, and she's got access to. She can see that information in real time. So Supermo Fitness decides to replace their old legacy system and fast track their plan to implement Oracle Cloud Collections. Right. So as logs in, she can see all the items that she needs to finish. From the dashboard, Hima has access to real-time information, and the info tiles gives her an instant snapshot. Okay, an instant snapshot of what's happening with each one, displaying a high-level performance indicator. Hima can see the delinquent customers assigned to her for the day, as well as the broken and collectible promises she has to handle. So, what do you mean by delinquent customer? Customers for which some sort of payment is past due, and she's got to follow up with them, possibly call as delinquent customers. So, at this point of time, before we proceed ahead in this particular business scenario, let's switch to Oracle Fusion Collection Cloud, and I'm going to quickly take you through the dashboard, and I'm going to quickly show you what is meant by real-time information. And you can see the info tiles which come by default out there, which you can always configure it as per your requirement or as per your organization's requirement. All right, so I'm going to switch on to Oracle Fusion Collections Cloud. So there is a collections cloud I've logged in, and here I'm going to quickly go on to this collections tab. And as you could see here, you've got collections and collections dashboard. So I'm going to quickly go on to collections dashboard for Supermo Fitness US. Now it takes a while to load. Now while it is loading, I'm going to quickly show you uh, the the release and version of this particular instance. So this is Oracle Fusion Cloud Applications 25A. I believe this is the latest cloud applications, and I'm on a vision demonstration database. So you'll see a number of information that is pre-configured and that has been done for a demonstration uh, re- demonstration environment. All right. Now, as you could see, this first tab or info tile is DSO customer list, which is where the customer list with DSO is been displayed. So what is DSO? It's days sales outstanding. So the number of days outstanding for a specific customer, and what are the top 10 customers, and what is their overdue amount, which is clearly shown over here. And you can drill it down further as a collections agent or a collections manager by clicking on the overdue amount and then drilling down further in terms of individual transactions and opening up, which is where what is due and on which invoice is due and what amount is due, etc., will be shown out there. And you can either contact the customer for the entire remaining amount, or you may decide to contact them on a transactional basis. Entirely, the organizational policy comes out here. But anyway, this is extremely useful for collections agents as well as collections manager, wherein it is clearly shown customer files, what's the total overdue amount, and then you've got the buckets showing out here that what's the overdue amount for 1 to 30 days or 31 to 60 days, 61 to 90 days, and so on. Right. So this is one of the info tiles out here. You can always configure them. And then you've got AR overview, debt details. So let's wait for a file to load it. So here it shows the overdue debt summary by customer. So you can see that, for example, Alexa Hotel and line entered amount remaining is 179,200 and tax entered amount remaining is 17,024. Okay, so why there are different lines for each customers? Maybe because they may have different different addresses pertaining to individual transactions. So it may have grouped them by address spaces. Again, you can configure this particular info tile. But what I'm trying to say is this kind of information is extremely useful. As you could see, you can click on a specific customer, let's say Club 8 Fitness Center, and you drill down further on the transactions which are overdue. And on the left hand side, you can see the buckets out there. For example, 1 to 30 days, what's the um, remaining amount which is out here, and so on, and 31 60 days, 60 to 90 days, and so on. So this is at a high level. But as I said, if you want to go down, you can click on this particular hyperlink for a specific customer. So I've just clicked on Club 8 Fitness Center, and let's wait for a minute so that it can load the details. So as you could see at the bottom, once I click on a specific customer at the bottom, it shows the details of the transactions which are associated. Okay, so for example, you've got this particular transaction that was for a Club 8 Fitness, but then I clicked on another customer, so it just refreshed the whole screen. So as you could see now, Club 8 Fitness Center, you can see the refreshed transactional data. So what makes up this particular total, which is over here, 690,200 for the line entered amount remaining, and individual transaction details are also shown here, and you can see the due date and other information, for example, the tax entered amount remaining, the line entered amount remaining, and so on. So what makes up this total? The granularity or the transaction level details are shown here. Okay, so that's also a very interesting and informative information for a collections agent. I'm going to go back. So here I'm back at the second info tile. So now the next one is AR transaction review drill down. So this gives the details of transactions which are overdue. So let's hold on for a while until it loads the entire transactional information which are overdue. As you could see, it has grouped by individual customer. So from the left hand side, you can see the customer name and what kind of a transaction class it belongs to, what's the transaction number, and what's the transaction accounted amount. So AR transaction review details, and you can see once you can click on the customer, it shows more information at the bottom. So let's say if I click on this particular transaction and let's see what information comes up. So I'm going to go and click on this particular transaction number. And you see here you also have business unit name. So if you have access to more than one business unit, you can change the business unit. You can also change the calendar month which is associated. So presently it is showing 2023 January, but you can always change it. Okay. So you can see, you can review the transaction if you want, and it's going to show you updated information. You see, taking a bit too longer for loading this particular transaction. So I'm going to switch on to something else, while it loads. So basically, the thing that I wanted to show you was one can drill down based on customer transactions in this particular info tile. So you can come down and you can see customer wise information you see um, as it is listed over here. Okay, and this is extremely useful for collections agent as well as collections manager or maybe receivables managers which are interested in having a look at what's due in terms of individual customers, what's the amount due, and how many days it is outstanding, and so on. All right. Now here you've got another sort of an infotile DSO collection matrix details. So let's see this infotile as well, and it gives you another sort of information. And this sort of information is also very helpful to decision makers such as a chief financial officer or a CFO, or maybe someone subordinates to that, for example, receivables manager, to report to a CFO as to what's outstanding and which customer. For example, there could be some strategic customers which um, you're talking about dealing with millions of dollars of worth of transactions, and out of which, um, what are the transactions that are due, and if they allow, for example, 30 days as a period for settling a payment, what are the transactions overdue 30 days, and what have to be settled, and if at all they are giving any waivers in terms of interest, then a note for that, and so on. So this set also of information is very useful for financial managers. So here you can see the collection matrix summary out here. So as you could see, again, this is a view which is customer wise. So you can see bill to customer name, and you can always change this. And here you've got overdue 31 to 60 days, aging buckets, and here you see the original amount and what is the present amount. Here the this is the original amount, 367,920. What's the overdue amount after 90 days? So 336,000 um, is the overdue amount for 90 days. Okay, so you can see information in tabular format right at the bottom out here. Let me just drill down what's further, and you can see the associated transactions over here. What's the transaction number, what's the invoice date, and what's the days overdue, and original amount, and what's the remaining amount. So all that information is shown over here very clearly. And again, as I said, you can go into individual transactional details. One can also change the customer. For example, if I'm interested in having a look at, let's say this one, Johnson Hotels, I can simply change from the list of values, and the system will automatically load that information and show you the data in real time out here. So let's wait for a while to have it loaded. So as you could see now, Johnson Hotels data has been loaded now, and in the graphics out here in the bar diagram, you can see the overdue amount for 31 to 60 days and 61 to 90 days bucket, and then lastly 90 plus days bucket. And the details of that have been clearly listed over here as well. What's the original amount, what's the remaining amount bucket wise. And if you drill down further, you can see the individual transaction details of what sums up these particular sum amount. Okay. So all that information is over here, and I'm sure uh, it will match as to what is displayed over here in terms of the overdue amount. So what's the original amount? What's the remaining amount over here? All right. So anyway, this is how a collection agent goes through the info tiles, which is extremely useful in my opinion for following up with the customer. So let's go to our presentation slide and see what's other challenges HEMA is facing and what's the potential solution in Oracle Fusion Collections Cloud for her. So as we have gone through the dashboard, I'm going to quickly go back to this and read this again so that you have the understanding of what I talked about a little while ago and what I have demonstrated. So from the dashboard, Hema has access to real-time information. The info tiles gives her an instant snapshot of what's happening, with each of one displaying a high-level performance indicator. So we have seen that in the DSO customer list or in the other info tiles which are out there. This is what we have seen, that one can see the real-time information on a customer basis, and then one can drill it down on to the transactions which are outstanding and see the differentiators in terms of the aging buckets as well. Hima can see the delinquent customer assigned to her for the day as well as the broken and collectible promises she has to handle. So again, that is something we have to see. So I'm going to quickly show you in terms of the activities how she can see the broken and collectible promises that she has to handle. So that's where in activities one can go down, take notes, and keep a sort of follow-up date, and that acts like a reminder. And that's where one can open it, read through the notes, and again contact the customer saying that okay, you promised this, but you haven't fulfilled it. It's a broken promise, so fulfill it ASAP, or otherwise some sort of action would be taken by the company in terms of recovering the outstanding monies. Right. Then she can also access the strategy task that needs to be completed today and see which activities require her immediate attention. So this is something I'm going to show you, um, that which activities require her immediate attention. So it basically comes in the info tiles as well. I guess you had to look at that, but in activities as well, we can see that information. I'm going to quickly show you. So with Oracle Collections Cloud, Hema has all the information she needs in one place. Each delinquent customer is assigned to a specific score and a strategy to help Hema know who to prioritize for follow-up. This saves her from having to spend time researching each delinquent customer and devising a specific collections strategy. So I'm going to go back and have a look at the activities that I was talking about a little while ago, and then we can explore this as well. So just hold on for a minute, and I'm going to switch to Oracle Fusion Applications Collections Cloud. So here I'm back at the collections home, and I'm going to go into collections. So previously we have gone to the info tiles by going to the dashboard, but I'm going to click on collections this time, and you can see a different sort of a dashboard. This is another dashboard that is in the daily life of a collector. Here you can see what are the delinquent customers and what is their number, and any promises that are made and any promises which are broken by the customer, if at all there are, and those numbers will be shown over here. What are the strategy tasks for today and for future, and the totals of that will be shown. And when you click on this particular arrow, it's going to show you all the strategy tasks that one has to complete. Okay, then the number of activities that she has to do it, and or she has to follow up, that is also shown over here. So as an example, you can see the customer and what's their total amount due, and what's the work status date, delinquencies. So there are 68 delinquencies. In other words, there be 68 transactions which are late, and who's the contact person for the customer, what is the strategy at a customer level to for this particular customer to follow up on the outstanding monies. And what's the score of this particular customer in terms of uh, the monies that are outstanding? Okay, so that is at a high level, but if you want, you can drill down further. For example, customer is Motique Gym. Okay, so let's say if I want to have some sort of an activity in relation to this particular customer. I'm gonna go into this activities and I'm gonna click on plus to create a new activity. You see, create activity, and here I'm gonna write saying that contacted our Lana for outstanding loan, but got answer that she will revert in 3 days. Okay, as an example, I'm just writing um some realistic scenario, but you can have your own. So let's say what's the due date? So this is the due date after 3 days, and what's the category? So it's just a call, or it's a dunning call, or any other categories that you have defined. So I would say dunning call, and priority, I would say it's high priority. Any other description? So Arlena is the uh, customer contact name. So Arlena, highlighted to Arlena that we are close to, we are near water flows and hence must clear off the outstanding dues which are in 90 plus days bucket. Okay. And who's the customer? Okay. I think I have the customer name copied. Yeah. I'll teach him. So I'm going to choose this and assign to whom. So you know what? You can do also one more thing. This is, I think, possibly a new feature that you can create a group of collection agents or group of collectors. So, for example, someone goes on leave, then someone else can sort of follow up or take over on behalf of the collector that is on leave or maybe left the organization. So that sort of a that sort of a feature helps in real time scenarios. All right. Now you also have a feature of attachment. For example, customer has sent something or a promise note or some other information. You can always attach it using this attachment feature. So at this moment, I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to simply hit that save and close button. So this is done now. Okay. And as you could see, you've got one activity which is open, and its due date is uh, 12th of March 2025, and it's high priority. And what is the category of this one is a dunning call. All right, so this is a way one can create new activities and follow up. Let's go back to the presentation and see what else is there. So as you could see, I'm going to read this again. She can also access the strategy task that needs to be completed today and see which activities require her immediate attention. So as you could see, from the dashboard, the activity that has been created and what could be other activities that require her attention. For example, an activity that she's created a few days ago, it is due today and requires immediate attention in the form of a dunning call or maybe issuing a dunning letter and so on. Okay. With Oracle Cloud Collections, Hema has all the information she needs in one place. And this is something I have demonstrated a little while ago that you can see all the information in one place in the form of a collection agent uh, that requires that sort of information for follow-ups. Each delinquent customer is assigned to a specific score and a strategy to help Hema know who to prioritize for follow-up. This saves her from having to spend time researching each delinquent customer and devising a specific collection strategy. I guess I've shown that to you already. You have seen that in the dashboard. I'm going to go back again and I'm going to show you the collections dashboard. So I'm back at collections dashboard, and here I'm going to click on the delinquent customers, and you can see that the strategy and the score is assigned out here. And that's what matters uh, to a collections agent as to how important a customer is, what strategy one has to apply in terms of follow-ups. As you could see, you can you can also create new tasks or define new tasks or track the tasks which are already out there. For example, moderate customer call, and when did you call, whom to whom it has been assigned to. You can take notes in relation to that. Okay, and as you could see, you have this particular strategy, but you can always change it. So present strategy is moderate customer collections strategy. Okay, you can always use the change strategy button to change that strategy to another predefined strategy. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the presentation. So here we were. I'm going to go on to the next page and see what lies ahead. So Hema can now start following up with delinquent customers, and she clicks on activities. So we have seen how activity works, how a new activity can be defined, and how one can fill up that information as a collections agent. Then you've got this point. In the past, Hema found it difficult to track such tasks, but now with Oracle Collections, all this can be managed in a single area. Okay, so this is very important that you got all the information in one place. She clicks on the customer name from the contacts tab. Hima can see that she needs to call customer contact. Hima really appreciates being able to get all the customer details she needs in one click. So this is something I've demonstrated you. I'm not going to go through it again. So I'm going to skip that. Now, here you have during their call. So in one of the customer contacts call, you've got customer contact named Dhar tells Hema that shipping costs should be paid by Supermo Fitness. And the collections agent isn't sure about this and tells her that she will verify that by checking the contract. So again, you can leverage the activities tab to create a new activity that you have followed up with the customer, but customer raised a dispute stating that um, the shipping cost must be paid by the organization. So she has got to go and check the contract associated with the invoice and where she can add notes. So in this particular case, Hima goes to the transactions tab and select the relevant invoice where she can add the notes. So let's see uh, how this works. So here I am back at the Fusion applications collections. Okay, so I'm going to go into transactions. So this is Montique Gym as an example. So I'm going to go into transactions. So here are all the transactions uh, uh, which are sort of delinquent or outstanding. Okay, and the days late are also shown over here. So as an example, you can take this particular transaction and you can take notes against this particular transaction, which is what I was showing you. So here you take a new note. A journal note or a reference or special. So you say something like a journal note stating that have to check the contract for TNC associated with the shipping cost since customer raised a dispute in relation to shipping costs. Ship. Okay, something like that. You can write your in your own words, but just for demonstration, I'm writing this so you can save it against a specific transaction. So next time when you come onto this transaction, you would know that you've got to sort of check the TNC of the contract in relation to this particular transaction. Okay, so this is the transaction number. You can either go via AR or you can go via the dashboard to see the details. So you can see this transaction, what I have uh, clicked, you can see the details of that particular transaction over here, right? And you can see all activities that's happening or that has happened in the past against this particular transaction and the lines associated with this particular transaction. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the presentation and let's see what else is there. So I'm going to read this again. Hema goes to the transactions tab and selects the relevant invoice. So that's exactly what we have done. And she can add notes, right? That's what we have done it. So here Hema quickly adds details of her conversation with Dhar and specify what action needs to be taken. So you can see and what action needs to be taken for the invoice. And she can now save the note. Okay, so that's exactly what we have done it. And that's how, Hema can follow up with the customers, take notes, and take follow-up calls, define or create strategies for collections in relation to specific customers, and see all the information in one dashboard, and so on. So this is extremely useful to a collections agent uh, in day-to-day life of a collector. So this is a short video or a short demonstration I have given you, but I will expand this further in the form of a course wherein I will explain more details into Fusion collections along with associated setup information. Thanks for watching.